Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Sarah Waddell. I'm your executive mindfulness, leadership, and business strategy coach, and I'm going to be talking to you today all about the 5 steps to leadership and lifestyle mastery. So this is for women executives, leaders, and entrepreneurs that are ready to shift from barely surviving to flourishing and thriving. The world needs superstar, strong women leaders like you, and now is your time to really thrive. So in this 60 to 90 minute long webinar, I'm going to be talking to you about the 5 steps that you can apply today to create your lifestyle of mastery as a leader so that you can empower others in the world because you yourself are fully empowered and living your best self. So let's get started. So if you're wondering who this webinar is for, it's for women leaders that feel they have unique skills and passions and a desire to make a real difference in the world. It's for women leaders that feel like they have more to offer at work and at home, and they are ready and wanting to make it happen. And if you are looking to create more time and energy in your life as a leader and become an amazing superstar leader with your business results, and also wanting to bring more passion and fulfillment into your life, then this workshop is for you. So perhaps this sounds like you, some of the common challenges that women leaders are experiencing right now. So perhaps you're experiencing burnout or overwhelm, or you're unsure of who you're meant to be, serve, and impact in your business or in your role as a leader. Perhaps you're struggling to manage your workload and mentor your team. Or you're looking for fulfillment in your work that connects you with your deepest personal values and your personal mission and purpose in the world, but you're not sure how to do that. Or maybe you secretly feel disconnected and you're lacking in confidence, or you're not even sure if you'll ever be good enough to lead and you're feeling like you're stuck with that imposter syndrome. So in this webinar, we're going to talk about a few different things today. One is theme you'll see is talking about lifestyle and leadership mastery. So we'll be talking about how to create a lifestyle that you absolutely love that allows you to live up to your big vision and true purpose as a leader in your work and your personal life by celebrating your potential for limitless expansion. Plus, we'll talk about how you can create more time and energy in your workday and in your life overall by infusing your schedule with time to replenish and recharge. I call that exhaling, and we'll talk about that more a bit later. And this will help you bring more energy and ease into your work, create more productivity and amazing results. Will also allow you to connect better with the people that you work with, and your personal life will really expand with having more time and energy instead of coming home burnt out at the end of every day. And then another thing we'll talk about is creating more confidence in your role as a leader. So we'll look at how you can create the inner transformation that you need to be able to step into the spotlight as a superstar leader in your business, in your organization, and in your personal life so that you can truly be the change that you want to see in the world and help and heal and empower the world around you. So my promise to you is that I'm going to show you the 5 shifts that every leader needs to know to go from barely surviving to flourishing and thriving. And this will help you create more time and energy in your workday, which will increase your happiness and your fulfillment, give you way more impact and amazing business results, and will also help you create more time and energy to do what's most important to you in your life, whatever that may be. But not only am I going to tell you how to create more time and energy, you can also look at these 5 shifts as the cornerstones of leadership. And they will help you master your leadership and your personal lifestyle so that you can thrive in all areas of your life. And I have a gift for you. So if you stay till the end of this webinar, you'll get it for free. And I'm offering this to you as a thank you for showing up and to help you with the next steps after this webinar. So here are some of the common themes that I see in women leaders right now. So a lot of women leaders are leading their teams and progressing their careers and even building businesses on the side or full-time entrepreneurs, but they're doing it at the expense of quality time with themselves and their loved ones. So they're actually trading something for something else and sacrificing. Some of them are challenged by not having enough staff in their roles to get the job done, so they end up doing more their fair share. And this is a problem because it's only going to be growing into even bigger of an issue as we continue to move through this phase where the baby boomer generations retire. I know a bunch of them are staying on longer than they used to due to their circumstances within their careers and their lives. But the problem for the rest of us that are going to be still in the workforce is there's going to be a huge gap in available workforce and people in the Western world to be able to fill these gaps. So I believe we need to create superstar leaders to be able to offset the lack of people. We need to be able to create people and lead organizations with a thinner, more lean organization so that we can still have amazing results, still have a positive impact in the world, despite the reduction in available people across the country and across the globe, really, to do these jobs. So I'm super excited about that, and it's why I want to teach what I teach here today. So also, some women leaders are feeling they're ready to change careers or escape their current situation at work, but they're not sure where to start, or they're really concerned about creating the same issues in the new place. So they want to figure out how to approach things differently so that they can have a better lifestyle. Some other women leaders are feeling like they're trading their well-being for hope. They're working long hours, but they're burning themselves out. And they do that in exchange for the hope that it will lead to career progression or help build their business or really secure them the safety within their job, that they feel safe from it. But the problem is that they're coming at the whole situation at a place of lack, and it's leaving them burnt out. Other women, and most every leader that I talk to, wants more time and more energy so that they can have more impact in their business, in their organization, in their personal lives, and in the world. So often, many women leaders that I talk to work long hours, like we've talked about, work through lunch break. They often have back-to-back-to-back meetings. And then their personal life reflects that as well. So either they work long hours or they leave work and then they're into back-to-back appointments, taking care of their kids and taking them to soccer practice and swimming lessons, and it's go, go, go all the time. And they want to have more impact in their role in the world, but they don't have the energy really to do it or the time to make it happen. And they feel like there must be a better way to live, a better lifestyle out there, but they're not really sure where to start. So perhaps you can relate to some of the things I've just mentioned here. There are some pretty common challenges I've seen women leaders, so it may be something you're experiencing as well. But I have good news for you. The real problem is not these issues. The problem is that you just haven't made these important shifts just yet that I'm going to tell you about today. So just imagine for a moment, once you've created your own exhale and thrive lifestyle that I'm going to be telling you about how to do that today, just imagine the outcome here, that you will come across as a superstar leader who is authentic and confident in everything that she does. As a superstar leader, you'll stand out at work immediately, move through your workload with ease, joy, and inspiration, and have world-changing impact effortlessly. As an authentic leader, you'll command respect because you're able to create authentic and genuine connections with your team and with your customers, with your colleagues, with your stakeholders. Everyone that you connect with will recognize and really drink in your authenticity. Unfortunately, a lot of organizations do not have the depth of authenticity that I believe really makes a difference in people's lives. So to be able to come into your leadership role with authenticity is a massive life-changing thing for yourself as well as the people that you connect with. And then finally, being confident, you will know exactly how to communicate your priorities and your needs in your organization, working with your staff and your colleagues. And you'll become memorable in the impact that you have and the impression that you leave on the people that you connect with. And you'll naturally then magnetize career opportunities and business opportunities to you with ease. So first, before I go into the 5 shifts that I'm going to be sharing with you today, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself so you know sort of where I'm coming from. So as I said at the beginning, my name's Sarah Waddell, and I help women leaders, executives, coaches, and entrepreneurs go from barely surviving to flourishing and thriving in all areas of their lives. So I do this through teaching conscious living and leadership combined with inspired and intentional business strategies to help them take both the mind and the heart together to work as one whole picture. And my big why, so why am I teaching and coaching others about this? First of all, because I've had my own journey of struggle and tendency to lean into overwhelm and taking on too much because I care a lot and I want to help others. And that can sometimes leave me taking on too much. So through that, I've created my own exhale and thrive approach to my life. And I teach that to others as well so that they can have amazing results as leaders without all of these challenges that I talked about, without leaving yourself in burnout and overwhelm. But the reason why I want to help women leaders is that I believe that leaders have a specific and unique role in society because they have an impact beyond one person's normal reach. A leader has the ability to change and heal the world for the better because they not only impact the people that they work with, the people that they work with, their lives are then changed, and the ripple effect is huge. So leaders impact the people that they work with directly, their staff, as well as their colleagues in their organizations, the people that they come into contact with through their business, through stakeholder relationships or customers, or how they support people in the community. The ripple effect is huge. So that's why I want to help women leaders specifically, is because I believe it's time for women leaders to really step into superstar roles. Our world needs strong women leaders who are able to be compassionate and conscious in their leadership, as well as having that strong intellectual and logical side of the business and the strategy all coming together. We need women to follow their dreams so that they can heal and empower others in their world. And so that's why I'm so excited to be sharing this all with you today. So a little bit more about me, and then we'll jump into the 5 shifts. So I believe that it's most important is to understand our deepest personal values before we go into anything else in life. Knowing what your values are help you prioritize and stay connected with your intention for your life so you can consciously move through day-to-day challenges and situations at work and in a personal life with deliberate conscious intention instead of reacting and kind of being tossed back and forth along the way. Instead, you can choose which direction you want to go in and be intentional about it. So my top 3 personal values are relationships, excellence, and having a positive impact. So for the relationships here, you can see this lovely picture of my recent wedding to my amazing partner, Paul. And it was an incredible experience. So in our wedding, we even prioritized relationships and family within how we did our ceremony and had family in both sides of our bridal party and ensured that we invited kids and everything, and it was really special. But my number one priority behind my own self-care is my relationships with my husband, my family, my friends, my staff, and my colleagues. And because this is so important, I always go into every interaction with loving and authentic compassion and support for the people that I work with and that I connect with. I share this, of course, with my clients as well. The second value that's a number one top priority for me is having excellence in everything that I do. So this picture is actually a picture of Royal Roads University here in Victoria, BC in Canada. And it's where I went to get not only my certification in executive coaching, but as well as my Master's of Business and Administration with a specialization in management consulting. So it was a really amazing opportunity to learn, to have more formal education in such a beautiful place like this, which learning in a castle was pretty amazing. So this value of excellence includes my lifelong learning, includes taking time for self-reflection and creating a fail forward, learning as I go type approach to everything that I do in work and my personal life. And also encompasses limitless expansion that I believe that everyone has the opportunity and potential for. This also encompasses personal and professional development and mentoring others, which I believe is so important, that we can pass on things that we know to help others and help lift them up as they grow as well. Which leads me to doing what I'm doing. My passion for teaching and coaching all rolls into that. And then finally, my other top value is positive impact. So I believe that it's important for me to have a positive impact on everybody that I meet and everywhere that I go. So this rolls in my excellence in relationships all kind of in together, actually, as I'm describing it. It makes sense that it all goes together. And having a positive impact really includes my passion for teaching and coaching and my ongoing journey of self-awareness and helping other people in their own discoveries and journeys as well. So as I'm going through this, I wonder what comes up for you. What are your deepest personal values? You know, knowing what these things are really makes it a lot easier then to make other choices in your life. Prioritize how you spend your time and your energy as well. So what I want to share with you today is what, like I talked about, there's all these common challenges, but there's some things that superstar leaders do that set them apart. Some leaders that I know struggle tremendously. They're burnt out all the time. They're putting out fires all the time, and life is miserable. They're stressed and overwhelmed. Their personal life is suffering. But then there are other leaders that have show-stopping results, and that they basically stand out as superstar leaders within their organizations and in just how they really show up even when they enter a room. And the one thing that these superstar leaders did, no matter what industry they are in, is something that I want to share with you. Basically is what I'll be talking about with you through these 5 shifts. So just as these superstar leaders have done, and these shifts that I'm going to be sharing with you, I also have made these transition from going from burnt out and overworked to now thriving, doing work that I absolutely love and having a positive impact in the world. And if I can do it and these other leaders can, you can too. It's just a matter of figuring out the steps to get there. And that's what these 5 shifts that I'm going to share with you today are all about. So let's jump in now, shall we? Now that I've introduced myself a little bit and we've talked a little bit about the challenges, now I want to talk to you about how you can make these changes. So each of the 5 shifts we're going to cover today will have some action-oriented points at the end, so you can take notes and apply them right away. So grab a pen, some paper or a journal, and then get ready to go here. We'll jump right in. So I'm going to be teaching you the 5 shifts that will help you flourish and thrive professionally and personally. So you can now start working with ease and create more energy in your life for doing what you love, so you can have the massive impact on the world and in your community and organizations and personal life that you are really meant for. So shift number 1, I'm calling watching out for traps. So these are the things that can keep you stuck and really limit your impact and kind of makes life unfun, honestly. So these things can keep us stuck and really limit our potential and our enjoyment of life. So I'm going to talk to you about these, and then in the next shift, I'm going to talk to you about how to unlock them. So maybe today you are stuck. Maybe you feel like something is holding you back. Maybe that's why you decided to pop on the webinar today and check this out. So if you're stuck, I invite you to explore maybe what those things might be. Maybe you aren't sure and you're not sure what's going on. So we're going to unpack that a little bit here. So some of the things that hold back leaders, these are some of the top 10 traps that I have seen within my clients and colleagues over the years, and in myself too, of course. So one is perfectionism. That's one that I struggle with often, and believing that we have to be perfect can really limit our ability to do work and be productive. Another one is overwhelm, where I know many leaders, this is a common challenge for men and women leaders. And this time, day and age, like I said, especially where we have not enough people to do all the work. So the workload can be really heavy and it can be overwhelming. Another trap that is pretty common is a feeling of obligation. So this ends up creating a belief that you need to work longer hours, or you have to do more and more before you can rest. And feeling like you're obligated to do something can really be a trap that can keep you stuck. Another one that is common but not often talked about is having low confidence. And being able to work in a confident way is really a requirement as a leader. Otherwise, the people that you lead don't want to follow. They won't trust you, and your ability to lead your team or have any impact in your business or your organization is really non-existent. Another one that is common, but again, I don't think talked about enough, is blaming oneself and others. So this kind of is more of a victim mentality, which is a couple bullets down here, that it can really get in the way of people stepping into their own ability to change their life and their circumstances. Another common leadership trap is avoidance, where people just are overwhelmed perhaps, and they just avoid things altogether and don't deal with them. Victim mentality I already talked about. Codependence is another issue where people believe that they can only really succeed or feel like they've done well if someone else acknowledges them. So they're relying on other people's opinions versus their own, which can be really messy, especially in a leadership role if you're dealing with challenging staff. Burnout is a common one. This also goes with a feeling of busyness and just going all the time. That can be a huge limiting factor on leaders. And then another one is overachieving, where people believe that they need to do more, or they need to accomplish more or be better, and they just basically are striving all the time instead of being confident in what they're doing today. So perhaps some of these jump out to you as something that you're feeling right now. Maybe if there's one or two that really feel like something like there was an aha moment for you, or something came up when I was mentioning them, then I encourage you just to jot them down and see as we go through the rest of the shifts today that there may be ways for you to unpack those a little bit and maybe heal it and get out of being stuck in them. So just put those down on your notes here, and then I want to take you to the next slide. So this builds basically on the traps. So these are the fears, some of the beliefs that end up creating those traps. Sometimes leaders feel like they're concerned about being judged or rejected, or especially women leaders may be concerned about unwanted attention, believing that if they step out, they may be seen as either really a bitch is what comes up. Unfortunately, that's the only word that comes to mind at the moment. But there is a belief in there sometimes that women can't really stand out because they'll be judged, or they'll get unwanted attention, or maybe they'll have the opposite end and have people be amorous towards them, and that can be awkward as well. Some leaders also have fears about being undervalued, so they just kind of keep themselves kind of quiet and limited, or they may be concerned about job security or credibility loss, where they are worried that if they do something that might rock the boat a little bit, that they actually may lose their safety. Another one is feeling vulnerable. They may be really concerned and fearful about actually being authentic, because then that will make them vulnerable to a bunch of these things that we've already talked about. Another fear with a lot of women leaders that I find is the concern about unprofessional relationships. So they end up having to go into putting themselves into a bit of a box of pretend professionalism, which limits their true impact and their ability to be authentic, because they're concerned about the impacts that will happen within their colleagues or their staff or managers and all of that. Other people are fearful of change or something new because they're comfortable with what they know, and as things progress and change and innovation is brought in more and more, this can be even more of a concern for a lot of leaders. And another one is being fearful of becoming unnecessary. You know, as things progress, that is a concern that often comes up for leaders. But oftentimes these things aren't discussed, which is why I really wanted to share them with you today. To say if you're feeling any of these or any other fears, or you're feeling stuck in these traps, it's okay. we can work through them. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. And these fears often come from limiting beliefs. So beliefs create our thoughts, which create our actions. So what I'm trying to do here is to show you that we're going to go down through the layers a little bit so you can actually work through some of the roots of these issues and improve them. So some of the limiting beliefs that create these fears and traps that we've talked about here are believing that maybe work must be hard. I know that's one that I've dealt with over the last few years. Or a belief that you have to sacrifice or trade something for something else. Or maybe believing that you have something to prove, or there's limited opportunities or available income out there for you. Or maybe you believe that you have to work long hours to be valued or to be seen as relevant or to basically do the job right. And so that can be a challenge. And there's many other limiting beliefs here, but I just wanted to give you some examples so you can start to see what might be there for you as we're talking about this. So maybe you want to take a moment to just jot down what beliefs might be limiting you right now today. Just take a note of what those might be, and then we're going to work on shifting those a little bit today. So why does this matter? Why am I talking about traps, fears, and limiting beliefs today? Because I believe that if you're stuck in your traps, what happens is instead of being at the top of this pyramid here where you're creative, you're able to deal with problems, you're able to be your best self in the way you deal with your leadership role and in your personal life, what happens is when we're stuck in traps is you're brought down to the bottom of this pyramid where you're basically dealing with concerns about love and belonging or confidence, or you're even dealing with concerns about safety and, you know, the basic fundamental human needs of having somewhere to be and to take care of yourself. And if you're concerned about financial security or job security or being needed or wanted or having the ability to basically be safe at work, then any of the amazing impacts that you want to have on the world just are not even possible because you're stuck in that surviving mode. So what I'm wanting to show you today is how to actually get out of that survive mode and into thriving. Because the transformation can be huge. It's just a matter of going through the layers to unpack the things where you may be stuck. So are you in survival mode? Are you feeling stuck right now? Leaders that are in survival mode are unable to be present with their team, and they cannot create the results they want in their business because they're stuck in surviving, like I described. The problem is that they're focused on putting out fires and working hard and focusing on surviving instead of looking at the challenges from clarity, vision, energy, confidence, and passion, really. So you can see how this can hurt your business and your team, your own happiness at work and at home if you're dealing with surviving only. But when you get this right, when you're able to unpack your traps here and really get out of being stuck and survive mode, you'll be able to be present with each moment at work. You can respond calmly to challenges and make decisions from a place of clarity, and you'll be connected to your true purpose and passion as a person, as a leader, and in your organizations and how you want to really show up in the world. This type of leader who is unstuck, who is thriving, will actually create an impact on everyone that she connects with and builds a reputation for excellence, where she creates trust and loyalty in her team, and she's able to provide a happy and healthy workplace for everybody that she interacts with. But if you get this wrong, then you will still struggle with having the energy that you need for your job. You'll be unable to focus or get everything done. Workplaces challenges will be harder to deal with, and you will make poor business decisions. Also, you will set a bad example for your team. You know what, we talked about the ripple effect that leaders can have. Well, it can be a bad ripple effect too. So if you're struggling, if you're in survive mode, then the impact on your team will be a negative one instead of a positive one. And you'll end up with an unhappy, unhealthy, and unsustainable workforce and workplace. It won't be a positive situation for anyone. But to succeed at these traps here, you need to know that the one key habit to implement to get you the most results in the shortest amount of time here is taking time for self-reflection and increased self-awareness so that you can understand your own traps, fears, and limiting beliefs. And then you can also help those that you lead do the same as well, which can be an amazing transformational experience. So step one with this shift, remember I said I would give you some actionable homework and takeaways. First step for this shift, number one, of watching out for your traps, is to create time for self-reflection. Identify where you're stuck. So you may have already been doing that today as we've been going through this webinar. And then you unpack the fears and limiting beliefs that are keeping you stuck. So you kind of look at the layers and you ask yourself questions and see what's going on and what might be leading to those beliefs. Then what you do is you reframe them into power beliefs that will support you in your leadership excellence. So one example that comes to mind here is if you believe that work must be hard and you must work long hours to be able to have any positive impact in your job. A way to reframe that into powerful, positive, supportive beliefs would be something like saying, I have all the energy and time that I need to do what is important in my leadership job, and I have positive impacts and results on those that I lead. Work is easy, and I am able to be extremely productive and have positive results in everything I do. So that would be a way to reframe what once used to be a limiting belief to now being a powerful belief that supports you in your leadership excellence. And the fifth step here would be getting help and some support to get unstuck quicker and easier. So sometimes it can be hard to do the reframe on your own. So getting support to do that can really make a difference. So what I've talked to you about in this shift is looking at how you can get out of the traps and the fears and limiting beliefs that are holding you back and keeping you in survive mode so that you can start performing as your best self, which will allow you to be fully present at work, connect authentically with your team. You'll be much more confident and secure in who you are as a leader, and you will create a reputation as a superstar leader in your organization and with your staff. So do you see that watching for traps and looking and understanding them will increase your self-awareness and help shift your beliefs so that you can step into your superstar leadership role? All right, so we're on to shift number 2. Now this is going to help you work on unlocking those traps a little bit further so that you don't have to be stuck anymore. And we'll talk about the 3 keys to do that. So I want to start this shift by asking you a question. So what if there were no limits for you? What if you had no fears at all in your leadership role or in your life overall? What would you be like? What would be different? How would you show up in the world? So let's now unpack these shifts, these traps a little bit here. So using these 3 keys that I'm going to tell you about will help you be fearless, confident, and fully empowered as a leader. And if you were fearless and confident and empowered, what would be different? Well, you would go after your dreams. You'd speak up at work and lead with passion and inspire others with your passion and vision. You would take risks, create and empower yourself and others, and you would do what you're truly here to do in the world, which is sharing your unique gifts so that you can heal and empower others in your life as well. So what would you do without any fear, fully confident and empowered in your life? Maybe you want to jot down a thought or 2 that comes up in your notes here today. But if you get this wrong, you will stay stuck in survival mode, barely surviving, be miserable in work and in life, and you will not bring your gifts to the world. You'll continue to struggle, feeling uninspired and unfulfilled. Your workplace challenges and relationship conflicts and burnout feelings, you'll be overwhelmed and living from a place of fear and survival. But worst of all, you'll be wasting your life in misery instead of living fully up to your full potential and experiencing everything that you dreamed for. So to succeed here, you need to know the 3 keys to unlock the traps, fears, and limiting beliefs that we've talked about so far today. So the first one is envisioning your ideal life, and I'll tell you how in a moment. The second key is deciding to take action and being responsible for your life, and I'll show you how to do that. And then the third key is reframing your beliefs, and we'll talk about how to do that as well. There's actually a 4th key here, and that's a little bonus I'll be telling you about in the shift number 5 at the end of this webinar. So stick around for that 4th key. But first, let's talk about key number 1. So one of the first things to help you shift out of the traps and fears and limiting beliefs that we've talked about is actually envisioning what you would like your ideal life, your ideal leadership impact to be in the world. So what I encourage you to do is to actually do a bit of a process. Perhaps you want to do that separately from here today, but take some time to write out what your ideal day would be like, what you would be doing, who you'd be spending your time with, where you'd be, what you're wearing, what your surroundings would look like, and really get into some detail about what that lifestyle that you would love to create would be. And then to make it more powerful, you want to actually visualize it. So imagine the colors and the textures and the emotions is a really key piece as well of what it would feel like to be living this ideal life, what you'd be like as a leader. And then there's a bunch of steps here where you actually take yourself into action, whereby committing to make it happen, starting small and thinking positive thoughts and celebrating as you go. Start doing things that you love. Start creating habits that will actually get you towards that lifestyle that you're looking for. Measure and track your progress and enjoy the journey. So this is a whole process that can take quite a while over time. You know, an ideal life exercise that I've done years ago is still unfolding here today, and I'm continuously updating it as I go. So step 1 here for this key would be to take time to visualize and basically create in your mind what this ideal life would be like. What would you be like as a leader ideally? So one example for me was multiple years ago now, I was dealing with this overwhelm that I was talking about. Burnout and workload was quite heavy at that time, and we were going with less staff. And what I found, what happened is because I was stuck then in survive mode most of the time in that role, I wasn't really showing up as a leader for my team. So what I took some time to do was to envision what I would like to create. And so for me, what was important was trying to figure out that gap where I was dealing with my own workload, but not really caring for my team like I wanted to. And so I took the time to envision what I wanted to create instead, which was to prioritize taking care of my staff first, checking in with them regularly. And some of the small behaviors that I did to make that happen was to actually make and commit time the morning and every afternoon where I would check in with each of my team members and we'd chat and see how things were going. And so this ended up creating just a regular daily habit and routine where we'd check in and we'd talk about things at length if we needed to, or just a little bit. And what ended up happening is then all of a sudden I was living in a leadership kind of situation where I was connected with my team. They were getting the support they needed. I prioritized caring for them first. I knew that was working well, so they were thriving, and then I could work on my own stuff. And so just by shifting that perspective, by understanding what it was I was looking to create and starting small by shifting my habits, I ended up having then a much more positive situation with my team. They were really super happy with how that went, and it made our daily interactions so much easier, much more effortless and flowing, authentic. It was amazing, just the difference of going into the situation with intention versus coming at it from survival mode. So that's why I wanted to share this with you all today. So let's move on to the second key here. So this is really important. So one we just talked about is self-awareness and seeing what isn't working. And then now the second key is deciding to take action and responsibility for your situation. So you recognize that something is there. So there may be an awareness. So if you look at the states of change on this slide here, you can see at the top it talks about pre-contemplation, where there's no intention on changing behavior. Then it moves into contemplation, where there's an awareness of a problem but no commitment to action. So this is hopefully where you may be right now, is in contemplation mode, that you may be aware now there may be a problem. Maybe there's some fears and limiting beliefs and traps that you're stuck in right now. Or maybe you aren't, but your staff might be. So this could be something that can help you with them as well. What I want to help you in this key here is to shift you from contemplation and awareness into action. So you can see there's a step here called preparation that's going to help get you from contemplating to taking action because you decide to address the problem. So understanding how to do it and kind of getting your thoughts together can really help you shift from preparation into action. So I believe that understanding these stages of change can really help in our own journey and also leading others. So by first identifying where you are in the stages will help you then move yourself to action. So once you've decided to take action, if you're still in the contemplation stage, then the preparation is where you gather all the details, the information, and the hows, and come up with a plan before you even then get into action. I used to judge myself when I had thought about something once but hadn't done anything about it. So now I realize that thinking about it once may have been the contemplation stage. Maybe thinking about it twice or 3 times is the preparation stage. And finally, I get to action. So to speed up your movement here into action more quickly, oftentimes in change management principles, people are dealing with fear or avoidance or a bunch of those other traps we talked about. So to help lead other people into change, and to do that for yourself as well, is increase your inspiration, increase the support and the information that you have, and it'll make it that much easier to shift into action. And remember, as you're going through this, to bring in compassion for yourself and others as you're going through these processes of change. Everybody changes at a different pace. Everybody has a lot of other things that are going on as well as this one situation. But I encourage you to look at this key as understanding how you can move towards action and create the decision to act and take on responsibility for what you're doing, or for how you're leading others, like I said, into their own process of change. And then key number 3. So I talked a little bit in the first shift about how to reframe your beliefs from something that may be disempowering and negative to something that is positive. But here I want to unpack that a little further. So I've created this concept called quadruple loop learning. So you may have heard this before. There's articles and a lot of learning processes out there that talk about your actions are created by your thoughts, and your thoughts are created by your beliefs. So by shifting your beliefs, then you can shift your thoughts, which creates a shift in your actions. If you're trying to come at the actions on the outside only, you aren't going to get very far or make much progress. So this is where the coaching approach can come in, and you can use this in your leadership role as well, is actually unpacking down to the layer of beliefs and seeing what's creating the thoughts and the behaviors. But if you want to take it even further, how do you shift those beliefs? Well, I believe that we can do that by changing people's experience. So maybe they've never experienced the concept of working with ease and joy and fun. If they're coming at something as work is hard, and they've never seen anything different, then it'll be really hard to shift the beliefs in what else is possible. So if there's a way for you to expose yourself to people that are doing things differently, or seeing another way of being so that you can experience what it is you're looking for in your life and shift things a little bit, then I encourage you to look at the layer of experiences first, and then allow the beliefs to be able to shift and transition to something new, which will then lead to different thoughts and actions. So using these 3 keys that I've just talked about will help you shift out of the traps, fears, and limiting beliefs so you can perform at your best self. Now, they're not easy to do. I've summarized them quickly so you can get an idea of what's there, but it can take some time to go through these different phases, especially if you're dealing with something that has been around for a while. There's a cultural belief that you've picked up, maybe has been there in your family or your organization for generations. So to actually shift things can take some time. And so support and coaching support and mentorship can really help with that. But once you do use these 3 keys and get yourself out of survive mode, out of the traps and the fears that we've talked about, you'll be able to be fully present at work. You'll be able to connect authentically with your team. You'll be confident, and you'll create a reputation as a strong superstar leader because you will be thriving instead of barely surviving like we talked about. So do you see how these 3 keys will help you unlock the areas of where you're limited and help you step into your superstar leadership role? And how that they will help you unlock massive potential in your team and your organization as well? I hope that you find them helpful and really can use them to support you in thriving both yourself and for your organization as well. So I believe that the task of leadership is not to put greatness into people, but to truly elicit the greatness that is already there. And I believe that we can do that by taking away the things that don't fit anymore, these limiting beliefs and behaviors and fears and traps that people can get stuck in. Those can all be pulled away. They can be healed and transformed into powerful, empowered perspectives for leaders and for our staff as well. So the third shift is one that I've developed over numerous years with myself and clients. And I'm super excited to share it with you because this is my number one secret as a leader. Sure, going through these changes in the beliefs and stuff is hugely impactful. But this is something that I believe everyone can really benefit from. And it's really a bit of a shift in how you perceive and approach work. So instead of managing your time and trying to jam more stuff into your schedule, I recommend managing your energy first, and then the time just naturally falls into place. When you manage your energy and not your time, you're going to be able to create limitless creativity, inspiration, much more fun, and productivity all at the same time. So when you manage your energy first and you take the time to recharge, you will truly have the impact that you desire in your work as a leader. You will create a reputation for excellence. You'll make wise, thoughtful, and sound business decisions. You'll be present with your staff and colleagues, and you'll even leave work happy and energized at the end of each day. It sounds great, right? Well, it's possible. I've done it myself and my team and my colleagues as well. But if you're running on fumes, if you're allowing yourself to get burnt out, overworked, then this kind of leader is unable to be present with their team. They cannot create the results they want in their business or their organization because they're running on fumes. The reason they're running on fumes is they're focused on putting out fires and working harder instead of coming at the challenges with a full gas tank. So you can quickly see how this can hurt your business, your team, your own happiness at work and at home if you're running on fumes and on empty all the time. But when you get this right, this is where that effortless excellence can come in. You'll be able to be present at work with each moment. You'll respond calmly to challenges. You will make decisions from a place of clarity, and you'll be connected to your true purpose and your passion. This type of leader who manages their energy first will create an impression on everyone she connects with. She'll build a reputation for excellence. She'll create trust and loyalty in her team. She'll work with ease, be highly productive and effective and fun to be around, while also creating a healthy and happy workplace for her team and herself. But if you get this wrong, you will still struggle with having the energy needed for your job. You will be unable to focus or get everything done. Workplace challenges will be harder to deal with, and you'll make poor business decisions. And you will set a bad example for your team and end up with an unhappy, unhealthy, and unsustainable workplace. This leads to much more sick leave and vacation time. Workplace conflicts are created in this type of an environment. People are overwhelmed. They make poor business decisions and do poor work. It's really just not a good deal all around. So if you are one of those leaders that doesn't take a lunch break or works long hours or doesn't take time for self-care, for exercise, meditation, and all of those things, this may be you. But I have good news for you, that you're able to undo it. And I'm going to tell you how to do that today. So it is easier and way more effective in your work when you manage your energy first and not just your time. So the first step in this shift, the takeaway for you here is to actually do a full energy audit and take time to prioritize your self-care. So you can start by assessing in your life what activities, people, and things are draining you or recharging you, and identify which is which, and maybe even how much each one impacts you. So maybe something is going to be give you a little bit of energy, so you could consider it a +1, or maybe it gives you a lot of energy and you could score it a +5. Or the reverse could be true, where a -5 is something that really is draining for you. So by understanding how those pieces work together, you can then deliberately choose activities that will fill up your gas tank with energy and prioritize those, and then offset things that are going to be draining. And then I encourage you then to deliberately plan to recharge regularly, whether that's through regular lunch breaks, through a morning routine where you get up and exercise and meditate and journal before you start your workday. Most successful leaders have a morning routine where they actually get up early. So if that's not something that you're doing yet, you may want to give it a try and see how it works for you. While it may cut into your sleep a little bit, the positive impacts that you will have will be way worth it. And I encourage you to create time for that self-care and conscious relaxation. So I've been teaching meditation for many years, and I've found not only does it help me in my personal life, but also as a leader and as somebody who can be much more productive at work. So taking time for meditation is like training your brain, just like you would train your body for fitness and physical health. Training your brain actually improves your mental health and your ability to focus and concentrate and have clear thinking, and lowers your stress levels. So it's a hugely positive thing. If you don't do it, then I encourage you highly to try it out. Other conscious relaxation techniques that can help calm the body and the brain as well are walks in nature, or yoga, or massage, or other things where you're consciously relaxing. This does not include TV watching. Well, as much as a Netflix binge can be fun, it does not do the same things for your body or your brain that truly relaxing in a conscious way can do through meditation and these other things. And then commit to small incremental changes. So remember, I talked to you about creating your ideal day or your ideal life. Well, you can get there in baby steps. So the best way to have successful habit change is to do a little bit at a time. So I encourage you to take one thing away from today to add into your self-care, so that you're really replenishing your energy, so that you'll have that focus and energy to do things that you want in life. And then accountability and regular routine and support will help you succeed in creating more lifestyle and habit changes. So that'll make it a lot easier as well. So this was going to be how you'll create a healthy work-life balance by managing your energy first. It will help you keep grounded and connected and calm, and will allow you to be fully present at work. It'll help you connect more authentically with your team and your colleagues, and it will help you create a reputation as a strong superstar leader. So managing your energy first and not just focusing on your time will help create the time and the impact which you really are looking for. So I encourage you to remember to manage your energy first, which will help you create limitless creativity, inspiration, and more fun and productivity in your work. So I have a story for you about one of my clients, Cheryl, that I've worked with, and she had an amazing transformation by looking at managing her energy first, like we've talked about today. So she was originally struggling with personnel issues, and she was overloaded at work. So she wasn't able to take care of her own workload. She was dealing with the people challenges. And as a regional director in a national nonprofit organization, she was struggling because she wasn't able to keep up with her own workload, let alone take time for her self-care. But through her coaching and working together, she began to create a morning exercise routine and taking regular lunch breaks. And she scheduled them both in her calendar and committed to them like it was a meeting with anyone else. And it really didn't take long before she had the energy and clarity to deal with the personnel issues, and was finally able to start the strategic outreach plan that she'd been thinking about for months. And the impact of this and the ripple effect of taking care of herself first, managing her energy first, was huge. It led to improved teamwork and productivity within her staff, as well as It led to increased revenues and donations for her organization because she had created new relationships with key stakeholders in the region, which led to partnerships and donations and positive inflow of finances and funding for her organization. So it was amazing to see in just a matter of a couple of short months where taking care of herself first and managing her energy then created the ability for her to take on this big project that she'd been needing to work on and planning for a while, to finally able to get to action and then see all these positive results. It was quite exciting to see. And she was happier overall as well, which is the point, really. So let's look at shift number 4. So this is all about world-changing impact. I know so many leaders that have a lot of passion and excitement for the world and a lot of ideas of how they want to support their community or their care for their family better, or maybe start their own business. But when they're stuck in that struggle like we talked about, then it's hard to get there. So by first going through the process of taking away anything that you're stuck with and getting out of survive mode, then filling up your gas tanks, and by managing your energy first, then you can come at the situation and look at things with a new perspective. You're full of energy, you're taking care of yourself, you're not stuck in traps anymore. Now you can actually start looking up and around and seeing what's going on around you because you're not dealing in survive mode anymore. So instead of barely keeping your head above water when you're in that survive mode stage, this is going to help you shift so that you're surfing the waves and maybe even soaring above them with an intentional strategy for your business, for your leadership role, and for your own personal career and personal life. So it's important to take time to shift your perspective so that you can truly have the impact that you desire in your work as a leader and in your business and everything that you do in your community as well. It takes a broad view, and you need to involve the right people and have the important information and everything, be able to ask probing questions and facilitate conversations so that you can identify connections, patterns, and key issues from a high-level perspective. So with all this information, then leaders can make sound business decisions so that they can achieve the immediate needs within their leadership role, while also staying focused on the long-term goals. But the challenge comes when, instead of looking at things from the balcony, you're focused on the dance floor. So you're focused on the transactional level in business. So leaders that are stuck here, they're unable to make sound business decisions, and they cannot create the results that they want because they're focused on the transactional level all the time instead of the big picture. Because they're focused on putting out fires and working harder, instead of taking time to get off the dance floor and onto the balcony where they can make new connections and see new meanings, they're stuck in struggle. They're stuck in overwhelm and small transaction, short-term thinking. So you can quickly see how that kind of perspective can hurt your business and your leadership immediately, and the potential for long-term success. So I did a little bit of research about strategic thinking overall and found an article in Forbes that said that less than 10% of leaders actually exhibit strategic thinking skills in their work, which blew my mind away because the article continued to say that basically they found that the strategic approach to leadership was 10 times more effective in their work, and 10 times more effective in their work than any other leadership trait. But I was surprised even more than to find out that 46% of companies do not even train their leaders in strategic thinking. So there's a massive gap here when we think about long-term, basically, outcomes for humanity and society as a whole, is if we're dealing on short-term issues all the time, then we're not going to go in a positive direction necessarily. So really taking time for strategic thinking will not only help you in your leadership role, it will help your organization, it'll help your teams, and the impact that you have in the community and the world as a whole. So when you get this right, and this is why I care so much about this topic, is that being able to shift to a more strategic perspective will help you know how the challenges that come up will relate to the issues in the industries and your organization. You will be able to be more intentional in your business, and you'll be able to remain connected to your purpose and your vision as a leader for you in your own personal life and career, but also for your staff and your organization as well. And you'll be able to reframe challenges and find innovative solutions, because remember that pyramid I showed you at the top? Instead of dealing with things down at the bottom in survive mode, you'll be at the top where you're self-actualized, you're empowered, and you're able to be creative and look at things in new ways and be innovative within your business and your organization. So the type of leader that has a strategic thinking and a strategic perspective on a regular basis, she'll be able to provide vision and innovation for her business by working from a big picture perspective, which, like I mentioned, will help her to be innovative and plan strategically for the long-term success and future of her career, her business, and her organization. But if you get this wrong, you will still stay stuck putting out fires without connecting to the bigger picture. You will stay overwhelmed and left feeling lost or without purpose or direction, and workplace challenges will be harder to deal with. You'll make poor business decisions, and you'll be unable to prepare your business for the future. Your staff will also not be led very well, and the whole team then will struggle and suffer and be lacking in vision and guidance without strong leadership. But worst of all on this one is that you'll stay stuck playing small, missing out on your true potential, feeling unfulfilled by your work and uninspired about the future, and you're unable to then have a positive impact in the world. But to succeed at this shift, you need to know how to bring strategic thinking and planning into your daily actions by first shifting your strategic perspective off the dance floor and onto the balcony. This one shift has transformational. If you feel overwhelmed, just shifting your perspective can really change the landscape just by getting you up to surfing and then even soaring above. Things look so much more clear. So the first step here and your takeaway actions for this shift is to conduct a strategy size up and remain daily focused on your strategic thinking and your strategic goals. So first you'd start by shifting your perspective from the tactical to the strategic so that you think big picture in everything you do every day. Daily strategic thinking requires accountability, self-discipline, and routine, and it's not easy to do. It is really natural and easy to slip into that transactional mode and get lost in the details instead of looking at things from a big picture perspective. But the problem is we need leaders to be able to look towards the future and guide their teams and our organizations and businesses in a positive direction. So the second step after taking time to think strategically on a daily basis is to make sure that you're thinking about the first, second, and third order impacts of all decisions. So not just dealing with, again, sort of the short-term response to something, but considering the impact of a hiring decision, for example. So say you hire somebody into your team. Well, how long then do you have a commitment to them? Have you now hired them for 20 years? Perhaps maybe you only have a short-term contract with them for maybe a year or a few months. But if it's a long-term hire, then you need to recognize whether there's going to be a long-term need for that type of position, or what is the requirement maybe to do some succession planning. You know that somebody's going to be retiring in 5 years and there's no one to naturally grow into that position. So you need to look at how you're going to prepare for that. So you're not dealing with putting out fires all the time. Looking at things from a strategic perspective like this will make it that much easier because you're planning ahead and you're prepared, because you're thinking about not just the immediate impacts, but the long-term ones as well. And then you want to consider, like I said here, and point number 3 is the long-term impacts of your decisions in areas like your HR and your people. your finances, your operations, your marketing, and a whole bunch of other business areas here. There's a formal size up process that I use to assess all of these different stages in the management consulting that I do, and coaching leaders to do that themselves. And we actually step through each of these areas to assess current situations and challenges. And then we can look at strategies and how to deal with each of the challenges and which strategy would work best depending on the circumstance of where the business is at this point. So when you're looking at where things are at in all areas for you within your organization, you then want to consider strategies and ideas that you're using right now to see whether they fit, or maybe they may not actually be an appropriate choice for you. So you want to make sure you actually identify the ideal business strategies for your organization. And as a leader, thinking strategically is imperative. It's something that, again, that is the point of having leaders in organizations, is to do the strategic thinking, to do the visioning so that they can guide their teams and their organizations in the right direction. This is not easy and simple. Summing up on one slide here really isn't necessarily a good way to put it, but I wanted to give you an overview of how you can go through this yourself. It can take a process to go through it, and having support to do that would be helpful and make it a little bit easier to have a different perspective. But I want to basically share it with you today because I believe that you can do this. It's just a matter of slowing down and taking the time to think strategically and plan and assess how you're approaching things in your role as a leader. So developing a strategic perspective will bring you the purpose, the vision, and the innovation into your daily work and business challenges so that you stay focused on the big picture, and then you can have massive impact in your business and in the world overall. Now is the time for us to have strong superstar women leaders in all organizations. And I believe that this is the way to do it. So first, by unpacking the things where we're stuck and that are keeping us limited, then understanding how to process change and to heal those things, then to manage our energy so that we have the ability and the drive to be that high level, creative, inspired, and passionate leader, really, and then having that vision and long-term perspective to be able to take you where you want to go. These are the tools that I wanted to share with you today. So I'm super excited to describe how to do that strategic thinking. So do you see now, as we look at all these shifts together, how this will help you create more positive impact in your business that will lead then to stronger business outcomes for you and your organization and have massive impact on the world? So then not only are you leading your teams and having a healthy and happy workplace, but you're actually having a positive impact in the community and society as a whole as well. Whether you work for government like I do or run your own business also like I do, then this really makes a big difference, is having that strategic perspective and help you really lead your teams in a positive direction. So I just wanted to tell you a quick little story here about a lecture I went to a few years ago now. And one of the CEOs at the Royal Bank of Canada was talking to us about the value of strategic thinking. And it surprised me at the time, but now I understand where he was coming from. He said that he fired any of his staff that didn't take time weekly to think strategically. His leaders that did not do that, they didn't stay around long because their organization understood that that was an imperative piece for their leaders to be integrating into their weekly schedule. He described that the people that did not take the time to get off the dance floor and shift their perspective to strategic thinking, where they could actually come at it, he described it to being on the balcony instead, so that their leaders then could take the time to reflect and see the situation through new lenses. It was imperative because then it helped their whole organization stay focused on the big picture vision and goals so they could intentionally plan for their organizational success. So despite the fact that less than 10% of leaders actually think strategically, it is key as a leader. And if you want to be a superstar leader as a woman or as a man, this is a key piece that if you develop this skill, it will set you apart from the rest. So I have another case study here for you. One of my clients, his name is Sam, made a huge change in just this one shift. So we talked about changing perspective from a transactional one to a strategic one. Just by talking to him a little bit about it, we talked and shifted his perspective to an on the balcony perspective, or surfing instead of being overwhelmed. This allowed him to get the clarity and vision he needed to lead his team with ease. He was overwhelmed, and so much, it was on a big, busy job, and in a military organization, which made it even more stressful, where he had a lot of operational travel, where he had to travel regularly with the military. And then on top of it, because I often work with high-level achievers, he was doing a second master's degree at the same time. And when I talked to him later about it, he said that just making this one shift transformed his situation so much that he found not only was he able to lead his staff easier and stay focused on the right priorities, he even found that his studies became more easy and manageable because he had that high-level perspective that he was approaching the challenges with, instead of being stuck in that transactional level. So just this one shift can make a huge change in an instant. It's just a matter of doing what we described, getting off the dance floor and in your mind, climbing up to the balcony and looking at things again and seeing how things look different and seeing what you need to do and what's working and what isn't and where you're trying to go. And then you can be leading strategically and have world-changing impact within your role as a leader, within your organization and your businesses, so that we can really help empower others and heal the world. So let's just take a moment just before I go into the fifth shift here and just pause for a minute. And I invite you to imagine, what is your impossible future? What is something that you would like to create in your life, in your career, or your business or organization? What are dreams that you have had that maybe are not yet fulfilled? What would it be like for you if you had full levels of energy and you were coming at things from a strategic perspective with vision and creativity and clarity? So before we go into shift number 5, perhaps just take a moment and jot down for you what that impossible future might be. Maybe a word or two or whatever has come up as we're talking. And then let's jump right into shift number 5. So this is the 5th piece, that cornerstone of leadership that I was talking about, that is integral to having amazing impact and to being a superstar leader. It's all about having support through mentorship. I use the word turbocharge because I believe having mentors helps us achieve what we want and grow and expand farther, faster, easier, while having more fun. And so I'm excited to tell you why I believe this is a key piece as a leader. So investing in mentoring is really the only way that high-performing athletes, coaches, politicians, and million-dollar business owners have reached their levels of success, because they invested in mentors, both the time and the resources to do that. But they did not invest in mentors when they were already making their millions and earning Olympic gold medals. They invested when they were reaching for their dreams, while they were still living in their parents' garage and training at their local community gym. So I personally invest in mentoring constantly. I've often had more than one coach at a time, more than one mentor at a time, because each one brings something different. And as a coach, of course, I recognize the gift of having support with my goals and my dreams in a way that I can necessarily do on my own. So I'm excited to share with you why, again, that the mentoring is so transformational, really. So why you need a mentor. They can help bring new ideas, information, and inspiration that you may not have had on your own. It'll also provide you someone to share your goals and challenges and struggles with, as well as someone to celebrate with who's outside of your work and your personal relationships. So they'll have a different perspective and be a little bit more objective. It also brings you confidence and accountability. It gives you someone that you can share your challenges with. You know, that one of the issues that leaders have is being in a leadership role, you need to show up as confident and together, right? But there's so many challenges that come up as leaders that it's nice to have someone to help support you, to help work through those with. And a mentor can help you give the exact strategies to reach your goals in the shortest amount of time because they've been there and they've done that before. Plus, they can help keep you out of overwhelm, doubt, and fear, and they can help you work through a bunch of those limiting beliefs and traps and fears that we talked about earlier. And mentors can provide an ally in business because they can see more for yourself than you can for yourself. So what I've often found for the mentors and the coaches that I've worked with is that they know what's possible beyond what I am even aware of. So remember I talked about that experience, by shifting your experience, that can really make a difference in what you know is possible. Well, that's I found in mentorship for sure, is they knew what was even possible but beyond what I had even experienced. And so they ended up opening up doors for me that I wasn't even aware of, which was an incredible opportunity and is why I believe mentorship is so important. And it's fun. It's nice to share a journey with someone and have a friend, someone that can support and cheer you on along the way. So the message I have for you in this shift is that you do not have to do it all on your own, and really you shouldn't be. I know so many strong women leaders that do it all themselves. They carry way more than their fair share. They figure it's going to be easier for them to do it than to delegate it and teach someone else to. They do a lot around the house. They raise some kids. They've got a whole bunch going on. They volunteer in the community. They run their businesses. And that's what leads to burnout. For you to have the true massive impact that you want to have in your organization and in your life as a person, you want to be a successful, high-performing leader, but you don't have to do it all yourself. And that's the trick here, is getting the support to help you do things easier, to be able to reach farther, so you can have that strategic perspective and vision that you need as a leader to be able to have the impact in the world that you want. So failure to get support in everything that you're doing can leave you struggling with overwhelm, so that you end up eventually giving up on life and may even end up with mental or physical health issues. And I see it happen all the time, and it breaks my heart, where people are just miserable. They're stuck in barely surviving mode, and they're just not really living up to living their fullest life. And I really don't want you to be one of these people. You know, I believe that we've connected for a reason, and I'm hoping that the tools I've been sharing with you today in these 5 shifts will really help you thrive, is the whole point. I want to empower you and give you tools to be able to be your best self. And this is one of the key pieces to successful and impactful leadership. So this shift ties back to all of the other ones that we talked about today. And a great mentor will help you accomplish all of these shifts that we've talked about and more. So the best thing that you can do is to ensure that you're not going to let your business challenges and organizational needs crush your goals and dreams, is to work with a great mentor that will help keep pushing you forward and provide you support when you need it most. So what I find has helped me really has been amazing. So if you imagine a roller coaster of something that goes up and down, right? So, you know, something's going well and then you deal with a challenge and it's hard, and then you struggle and then you get up and then you go up and down. Life happens, especially in a leadership role. Different things happen. You know, you lose a staff member, or there's a business challenge that comes up and you've got to deal with that. What I've found is having a coach and mentors, they have helped decrease that dip and increase the pace of going back up to my positive self again and reaching beyond and even higher. So the impact of having mentorship and support has basically decreased the challenge level that I've had to deal with things and helped me actually go farther and higher up in my own ability to be a leader than I would have been able to do on my own. So now it's your time to thrive. We've talked about these 5 shifts today, and I believe they are keys to help you win as a leader. So just to summarize them, we talked about the importance of watching out for traps, fears, and limiting beliefs that can keep you stuck. Then we talked about the 3 different keys to help you get unstuck of all of those traps and fears and limiting beliefs. Then we talked about the secret to success is managing your energy first, not your time. And then we talked about once you're full of energy, then shifting to a strategic perspective will help you have world-changing impact in your role as a leader. And then you can amplify your success through getting support in the mentorship, which will turbocharge your overall impact and speed of progress in your own personal and professional development and in your role as a leader. So by applying these 5 cornerstones of leadership mastery that we've talked about, I personally was able to create enough energy and time to accomplish all of my goals while I was in one of my roles as a business manager for a $55 million government organization. I also did this while teaching mindfulness meditation classes and running my own online coaching business. And I managed it all with joy and ease. But to throw it in there, I did even more all at the same time because I tend to bite off a big chunk all at once. I also completed my MBA and planned a wedding at the same time. So I was super thankful that I had all these tools that I've shared with you today, the 5 cornerstones of leadership mastery, because it really helped me be successful. The personal mentorship and coaching support I've had along the way really made it so much more easy to manage this big time in my life where I was having a big role in my day work, also doing a lot of business work and doing full-time school and planning wedding. Having all of these things and the support really helped make it successful and fun. And I believe that all of these things also helped contributed to my being recognized for my leadership and personal development through Royal Roads University when I finished my MBA program. They awarded me a Founders Award, which I was totally humbled and appreciative for. And it really just helped me recognize that the things that I do that now seem normal are not necessarily always common sense for others. And that's why I've put together these 5 shifts in this webinar for you today. So you can really help get out of stuckness and overwhelm and really thrive in your role as a leader. And then you can do that with your staff as well by helping empower them too. So we've talked a little bit today about your big vision and your impossible future and what you would do without any fear or limitations or anything holding you back. So as we kind of come to the finishing pieces of this webinar, I'd encourage you to take a few notes to see what's come up for you today as we've been going through this training. So what is your big vision? What would you create if you had more time and energy in your life? What would you create for yourself, for your business and your organization? And why is that important to you? Maybe consider what drives you to keep you going and what would your life be like if you're doing more of what you love? What would get you to leap out of bed every morning excited for the day? Maybe there's something missing that you want to bring into your life. For me, once upon a time, it was teaching and coaching. I have such a passion for it. I have for my whole life. And I realized at one point, a few years ago now, that I missed it. And so I made opportunities and created connections where I was able to then bring that into my life. And then made things much more fulfilling and exciting. So what is your big vision? What comes up for you? Just note that down in your journal there and we'll jump ahead here. So now we basically have a bit of a fork in a road situation. So you have a choice. I believe that effortless work and world-changing impact and continuous expansion is available for everyone. But you need to make a choice to take it on or not. So You have three choices today. You can procrastinate and do nothing, continue to feel burnt out, overwhelmed, and unsatisfied with your work and your life overall, and that's fine. You know, we talked about the different change wheel stages, and if you're in the pre-contemplation stage where you aren't even really thinking about it, that's fine. But I hope you've taken something away today to hopefully move you into action so that you can improve your life in one way or another. Choice number two is to piece it together alone. And this is what I did for many years. Again, being a high achieving women leader, I wanted to kind of do it all, right? I figure it out. I've got it. Independent. I don't need your help. Well, that approach can take way longer. It can be hard because you're struggling to piece things together on your own, and you have to trial and error it. So then figuring out how to have positive impact in your role as a leader and creating ease and joy in your day really takes a lot of time. It's taken me a long time to discover it myself. So trying to figure it out on your own, you'll make mistakes along the way, and it takes a lot longer. Though I understand if that's where you're at. But I have an offer for you. So choice number three is the fun way. So we can work together to create your lifestyle of mastery. We'll help you save time, enjoy the process, and follow a model that's proven to work so that you can achieve your goals and your dreams and having an amazing impact in your role as a leader and in the world and your community around you. So I invite you to just take a moment and tap into your intuition and see which choice seems right for you today. And maybe you want to even write a number down on your page, 1 or a 2 or a 3. So procrastinate and do nothing, piece it together on your own, or getting support to help you have your lifestyle of mastery. So if you are looking for support, I would absolutely love to help you. I believe our paths have crossed for a reason, and if you stuck onto the webinar this long, then perhaps we have something to share together. So I would love to help you get clear on your personal goals, your challenges, and your vision so we can identify your unique path to your own lifestyle mastery. I have been teaching mindfulness for quite a few years, almost a decade now, and I would love to help you develop your own mindfulness practice and help you develop that exhale lifestyle so that you have time to really recharge, so you're managing your energy like we talked about. I'd also love to help you thrive professionally and personally by using your energy management techniques that I've talked about and more, as well as focusing on leadership excellence and formal business strategy techniques that we discussed today. The things will be covered. I've put a lot in here, so there's a lot to chew on because I love to over-deliver, but it's a lot to go through. So I would love to talk to you about how to apply it to you specifically. And I can also help you celebrate your way to success by showing you how to follow my own signature Exhale and Thrive coaching strategy so that you have the vision, energy, confidence, and strategies to reach and achieve all of your professional, business, and personal goals in your life. I believe that women leaders can have it all without sacrificing, and I'd love to show you how. So now is your chance for a breakthrough. Remember we talked about a fork in the road? Well, this is my gift for you. I've set aside time in my schedule to talk about how these business ideas can help your organization and your leadership role. And this is my gift to you that I mentioned earlier on, is a free coaching call with me. And I would love to talk to you. So if you're feeling drawn to connecting, just check out my website at exhaleandthrive.com and put a /apply in there to get my booking page. And you can see time in my calendar and just pick a time that will work for you and we'll chat. So I've talked about these 5 shifts, these 5 cornerstones of leadership mastery. But the truth is that you need to know how to apply them in your specific situation and how to really make them work for you. We've talked about the theory, and I've given you some action-y homework type things that you can take away today, but I'd love to help you go deeper and apply them for you specifically. So I would totally love to chat with you for free because I believe in you. And like I said, I believe our paths have crossed for a reason. And I would be super honored and excited to support you in this next stage in your leadership mastery. So what we will deliver in this call is we'll show you the signature Exhale and Thrive system I've talked about and how you could apply it in your own work and personal life. We'll assess your self-care and teach you how to design a captivating superstar leadership lifestyle so that you can thrive in all areas of your leadership role and personal life. And we'll also talk about your personal leadership and lifestyle mastery plan so that you can captivate your teams and double the effectiveness of your efforts at work while working with more ease and joy than ever before. I'll also show you how to set up your business systems so that you can work less and achieve more. And we'll talk about creating a sustainable lifestyle that provides you with more energy and time so that you can put it towards what matters to you most. So if you're considering this call, it's for you if you want to provide real value in your work and have a deep passion for what you do and having a positive impact in the world. You need to be 100% of an action taker where your personal professional success is 100% non-negotiable to you. You need to have gifts and passions that are strong enough to support your career development to the next level, and you need to be dedicated to personal growth and professional growth, something that surpasses your desire to stay stuck. But this is not for you if you're not interested in making real positive change in your life, or you're a huge complainer or whiner who believes that nothing ever goes right. If you're not willing to step outside the comfort zone and try something new, or if you want a quick fix, or would rather go through the motions of trying to change, but you're not really committed to doing anything about it for real, or if you'd rather stay stuck in hiding where you are now instead of creating a life that you really truly desire, then this call is not for you. But if it is for you and it sounds like you're a great fit, then on the call, we're going to give you complete clarity on what you want your leadership lifestyle and mastery to look like. And we'll talk about the exact steps to get you there. We'll help you develop your own Exhale and Thrive strategy following the signature system I've developed to help you bust through burnout and overwhelm, getting you out of barely surviving so that you are flourishing and thriving in all areas of your life. We'll talk about creating your own personal action plan so you have more time and energy in your life to reach your goals. And then if you find that what we discussed seems like a good fit and you desire our help to bring in your own Exhale and Thrive leadership lifestyle into reality, and then if we agree that it's a good fit, then we may invite you to become one of our new clients that we'll work with this month in our exclusive Lifestyle Mastery for Leaders program. And when we work together, we will hold you to the same standards as our previous clients that have created superstar impact in their leadership roles. The curriculum in our coaching programs is designed to get you to develop an Exhale and Thrive lifestyle that supports you consistently while working less than you ever thought possible and creating a leadership style that fulfills your deepest purpose. This is possible because we focus not only on your business and your leadership and your strategy, but we also focus on your schedule so that you're truly creating the energy that you desire and that you need so that you have the energy that it takes to put towards whatever matters to you most. Whether that's having more of an impact in your leadership role, perhaps it's developing your own personal business, or developing opportunities and time in your schedule to volunteer in the community or spend more time with family and loved ones. Whatever it is to you, we can help you thrive and have the energy that you need to do this. So I'm Sarah Waddell. I'm the founder of the Exhale and Thrive Leadership Lifestyle Mastery Program, and I am empowering one woman at a time across the world. My goal is to empower 1 million women leaders across the globe, and I'm doing it one at a time, and I'd love to start with you. So if you feel like we're a great fit, if what I've talked about to you today really seems like it would be helpful for you, then I would love to talk more about how we can work together. So spaces are limited in our programs, and so if you're interested, I encourage you to apply now. We find that the women leaders that are most successful in our programs are action takers, and they really believe that now is the time to step into their best self. So If you are feeling like now is your time to step into your role as a superstar woman leader, then I am here to support you, to follow your dreams so that you can empower the world and heal others in your leadership role. So now is your time. Hop over to my website at exhaleandthrive.com/apply, and we can chat today. And then I can help you get personalized support so that you can create your own leadership lifestyle of mastery. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you. I really thank you all for stepping in and checking out this webinar today. I hope that you've taken away some actionable steps that you can apply right away and really get you into your own superstar leader role. If you're looking for support, if you're feeling like we would be a great fit and you'd like support in helping you create your own leadership lifestyle of mastery, then check out my website. Let's connect and we will talk in person and talk about how you can apply each of these 5 shifts that we've discovered today and how that will work in your own life. We can unpack the traps and the limiting beliefs and fears that may be keeping you stuck. We can use those 3 keys we talked about to unlock that stuckness so you can get out of survival mode and into thriving. We'll talk about managing your energy so that you can come at your life with full of energy and passion and excitement for life. And then we'll also talk about how you can create your own business strategies and shift your perspective to a strategic one so that you can soar and thrive in your role as a leader, and then your staff and your organizations can as well. And then finally, getting mentorship support is a must-have in your role as a leader, whether that's support through myself and what I can offer or someone else. I highly encourage you to reach out and connect with someone that you believe would be supportive in your journey where you are today, because they can help see much more possibilities than you may even be aware of and help make the whole journey much more fun and more easy and enjoyable. So thank you for tuning in. And as always, I am celebrating your limitless expansion. And I look forward to talking to each and one of you one-on-one, where we can talk about how you can thrive and get out of barely survive mode into flourishing and thriving in all areas of your life. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to connecting to you offline as well. Have a wonderful day.